Good morning. It's the Degenerate. It is NFL Week 3, Tuesday, September 17th. If you follow me now long enough, you probably know that we do the board review every weekday mornings at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the schedule for this season has been Monday, we recap the games. We talk Monday Night Football. Tuesday, we start talking NFL in the coming week. And then Wednesday, we talk college. Thursday, we talk Thursday Night Football. Friday, we kind of tighten up, tune up, and recap the newsletter plays and the best bets. Well, I cannot do a board review today, and if you haven't joined the board review, if you can, it's great. We've got hundreds of viewers watching and tuning in, but the best part, in my opinion, are all the people in the chat that contribute with their perspectives and angles and trends and strategies and everything. And then we try to come together and find our best bet. But again, I want to emphasize everybody make their own decisions. It's your money. Do what you want with it. Do not blindly tail me. I don't think you should blindly tail anybody. And of course, bet responsibly. So what I'm going to do, since I have a very court morning, then I got to go straight to the airport. I'm traveling today. I'm going to run down run through the board, the NFL Week 3 board, and kind of just give you my thoughts and reactions to these lines. I did take a glance at it. It's not my first look this morning. I took a glance at it yesterday. I think I know probably where I'm going to be in about 4 or 5 of these games. And I would say there's 2 or 3 others that I like. Last week was interesting. So week 1, I really liked the board, but I wanted to scale back. I'm trying to be responsible, set a good example. I really liked the board. There were almost too many plays. We had a tough time trimming the list for what we are in the Circa Millions, W Circa, best sports book out there. We're in the Circa Millions contest this year, 8-2 right now, which is great. Happy about that. We had a great week 1. A very, very tough week 2. In my opinion, I tweeted this. It was one of the most difficult week 2 boards I can remember. I had a hard time. We had a hard time. Steak and Gray. Again, if you're not familiar, we had a hard time coming up with 5 plays. We ended up getting there. 3-2 on the week. In my opinion, great success. That was fucking brutal. Quick sip of coffee. Now, kind of back to like stabilizing to where I like the board. I've got some plays, but I'm going to let it stew. Okay, I'm going to let it stew. I'm going to let it marinate. I will resume the board reviews tomorrow and Thursday. So Thursday, we're going to talk a lot about the Patriots and Jets. We'll come up with an underdog entry for some player props. But I want to just let you know, I do have the Jets punched in. I punched them in yesterday at 6.5. I like that number for the Jets. I'm sorry, I got it at 6. It's at 6.5 now. I hate this number. And I will tell you this, it is, I'm a numbers guy in the sense of where I kind of use it as it's like muscle memory. When I see spreads that are not coming through, I am terrified to go to those numbers. I just saw, I believe, Ben Fox tweet that favorites, underdogs of 5.5 points are 9-1 ATS. Now I know this isn't 5.5, it's 6.5, but all I can think about are some 6.5 point favorites that went down last week. And the one that stands out the most, the Dallas Cowboys. I heard a lot of people say they love the Dallas Cowboys. The Kansas City Chiefs were also around this number. Yes, they won, but they didn't cover. Well, every week's different. Now, I'm not blindly going and betting on these favorites just because all the dogs came through last week. But you do understand there is some kind of psychology for your average novice, beginner, public bettor, if you will, that is probably going to see what just worked and then go and apply that to the next week and potentially get burned. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be any reason that will dictate my wagers. I want to make that perfectly clear. And if, again, depending on how long you followed me, I used to be a very contrarian bettor, and I was very heavy on fading the public. Now, you can have your own opinions on how you feel about that. Some people get really uncomfortable when they hear that. Oh, why do you fade the public? Blah, blah, blah. Damn contrarians. You're so elitist. You think you know it all. Actually, I've always said, I think if you're contrarian, you don't think you know it all. You actually think the books know more than you do. So I don't really understand there's this like beef with that. But if you have been paying attention, Circa has been tweeting this out. The most common bets through the first 2 weeks have been getting crushed. Okay. There is a great quote by an account called Naval, and it says, if you want to make the wrong decision, ask everybody. I cannot help but get a little uncomfortable and a little uneasy if everybody is on the side of my play. So I want to preface that again, because if you're new to this or you're watching this video, you don't really know who I am. That's kind of the style of bettor that I have been, but I'm starting to lean into more logic and reason and really reading the teams, the coaches, specifically. As I get older, I really like to focus in on the coaches, try to bet on the good ones, try to fade the bad ones, obviously. So we're going to talk about that. Okay, Patriots and Jets Thursday night. Just real quick, I don't like the spot for the Jets where they're playing their third game in 10 days. I know someone brought that to my attention, but I don't care. It's early in the season. The Jets had back-to-back road games, which is brutal for anybody. Now, back-to-back road games in the sense of, okay, the Raiders played the Chargers and then the Ravens. That kind of sucks too, right? Well, they had a 40-minute flight from Vegas to LA, so it's not that much travel. New York went all the way to fucking San Francisco. I don't know what their plans were, but they maybe they went back to New York. Then they go to Tennessee. I mean, that's not right around the corner. It's probably a 3-hour flight, whatever. And then they come back to New York. Now they got to turn around on a short week and play a divisional opponent in the Patriots. But you know what I like about the Jets this week? I like that I think they just got a fucking huge jolt of fucking morale boost with that pretty gritty win against the Tennessee Titans team, who I don't think Will Levis is good at all. But I'll tell you, that defense is playing pretty fucking feisty. So they didn't make it easy on them. I give them their credit for grinding out that win. And then on the Patriots, on the flip side, they've kind of just had too high of a start. Massive outright win, the biggest one on the board in week 1. And then in week 2, they still come out in their home opener. They cover the spread depending on what you got or pushed with the 3. Didn't make it easy for the Seahawks. They probably could have even won the game. I just think that's a little bit too much of a high for these teams that do have shitty expectations. I mean, I believe the win total for the Patriots was 4.5 or 5.5. Shout out GRP for moving that market. But the Patriots aren't going to be good. And when teams like this aren't going to be good, they usually overperform and overachieve, in my opinion, early in the season. When the record is 0-0, they're still professionals. They're still human beings. It kind of becomes when they're like, I don't know, 3-7 or something. Then it's like, our season's kind of fucking over. Maybe we're checked out. The Patriots might bring it. But you know what I like about this? The New York Jets last season. I don't know how I feel about Robert Saleh. I used to not like him. Now I kind of like him. Now I don't think I like him anymore. But I do like this. The Jets season was over last year. They were 6-10. They went into it New England and they beat the fuck out of the Patriots. Granted, they didn't beat them by a ton of points. It was 17-3. But to not allow the Patriots to score a touchdown and only 3 points at home in New England on the final week of the season, when the Jets don't give a flying fuck about their record, I thought it said something. I think the Jets take it personal. It's been years of misery and tormenting by the New England Patriots. I think the Jets want to take it out on them anytime they can, and this is the time. We'll talk about that game more on Thursday, but I do have the bet in. I don't typically make wagers very early in the week, but I'll tell you what, I'm starting to come around to it. I know I've got the CLV mob on my ass. Shout out Cornfields, but it comes from a good place. I want to get the best of the numbers. I really do. I don't really know how I feel about trying to time the market. You can make a bet early in the week, but you don't know that number is going to get, any better or worse necessarily. However, my best bet was the New York Giants last week. I did punch it in early at 2.5, and I bought 0.5 point. You can say what you want about buying points. I don't give a flying fuck. It's your money. Do whatever you want. It's a little extra for an insurance on a key number that actually saved me 2 units. I saved 2 units. That's $200 for me on the New York Giants because I got them +3, buying 0.5 point at 2.5 early in the week. I was happy about the timing to make that bet and for the insurance on a key number. Only a key number. I'm not buying 4.5 up to 5, okay? And if you don't want to buy points, don't fucking buy points. Do whatever you want. It's your life. Where was I even going with this? Oh, so that's why I took the Jets early, because I liked it at 6. Now it's at 6.5. We'll see what happens. Broncos and the Bucks, first game on oh no, wait, I'm sorry. What is this? Oh, sorry. The timing on what I'm looking at here on Action Network is so weird. Okay, first game on my board is the Tampa Bay Bucks at the Denver Broncos. I'm seeing the Bucks are 6.5 point favorites, and it looks like the total. Oh wow, they're at 7 now. They're at 7 at BetMGM. Holy shit! This is getting too much. Total at 39.5. I don't see how this game goes over. Who could see how this game goes over? The Denver Broncos. Listen. I don't know if Bo Nix is going to be any good. I really don't. But it's hard to really get down on this team. They had probably the most brutal start to the season for a rookie QB, starting against the in Seattle week 1, and then turn around and playing the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, which is just fucking nasty. What to make of the Broncos? I don't know. What to make of Bo Nix? I don't know. But I'll tell you what, I'm not a Sean Payton guy. I've never really been a Sean Payton guy. I think he's a Drew Brees merchant, and I think he's just a fucking arrogant prick. You really look into somebody's eyes, into somebody's face, do something. If you're ever going to bet on the Broncos or Sean Payton, zoom into his face. He's a fucking slimy dirtbag. That's what I think, just a personal opinion. We obviously know the Bounty Gate situations or whatnot. I don't think this guy is a very good coach, all right? Now, the Broncos, I still think can be a scrappy team. It does go without saying. I mean, they came from behind. They didn't necessarily play well in Seattle, but they did push on that 6. Okay. So what I'm getting at is they were capable. I don't know that I trust taking the Bucs in this spot because the Bucs just are coming off of probably one of the highest of highs. Think about how they started their season. Beat the absolute piss out of the Washington Commanders. Baker, 81% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns in week 1. Cash the MVP ticket if you got one. Just kidding. Todd Bowles, head coach of the year. Cash that one as well. Just kidding. Then you go on the road in Detroit. Listen, I'm a Bucs fan. You can say I'm a bad Bucs fan. I don't give a fuck. I've been through everything with this team. Okay. Years of misery. Yeah, sorry, I'm not there on going to fucking Detroit and beating the Lions. But the fact that it happened, I'm done doubting this team. Baker has knocked me out of the Survivor League 2 years in a row. Vikings week 1 last year, Lions week 2 this year. This guy is just a downright fucking dog. But from a team perspective and a spot, if you look at it from the scheduling spot, it's just weird to come back from Detroit, come back home and play a team like the Broncos. Are you really getting up for that game? Probably, because I still think the Bucs might have that chip on their shoulder all season. Next week, they host the Philadelphia Eagles. That should be a good one. But anyways, I don't have a play in this game. I know the Bucs are probably going to be a very popular Survivor pick, and we've seen the most popular Survivor pick go down 2 weeks in a row. Is it going to happen a third time? I don't know. It would be under or nothing for me, as square and as obvious as it is. It would be the under or nothing, and maybe even the first half under. The last thing I'm going to say is this. Todd Bowles against a fucking rookie quarterback, recipe for disaster. Baker Mayfield, though, is a Tampa guy. He might be the dude that puts on a show in Tampa in Raymond James in front of that fucking pirate ship. I mean, he's just a pirate. He might be that kind of guy that puts on a show every time. So if this ends up being a 28-14 game, sneaking over where nobody saw it coming, I mean, look, you're going to look at the splits on VSiN. And again, I just look at the splits. It doesn't dictate my wagers. I know people don't like splits, and that's totally fine. I'm not here to push them on you. But if you look at this, 90% of the money right now early is on the under in this game. Seems obvious. If I was a sports bettor, if I had a lot of money and I did this for a living and I'm betting this game, that's probably what I'm going to do. But we know it doesn't always work out like that. Texans and the Vikings. I have said that I don't want to fade the Texans after week 1 when we had a Colts plus 2.5 ticket, which felt very lucky to cash. Shout out Greg for his best bet. Oh, and that's on the newsletter, by the way. Sorry to get corp. TheDegenerateWeekly.com homepage. You can subscribe to our newsletter. We send our best bets and write-ups in college and the NFL Friday morning, usually around 8 a.m. Eastern Standard. The Texans just might be the Baltimore Orioles of the NFL. And what I mean by that is the lines look a little short. You want to get contrarian. You want to fade the hype. You want to fade the stars. And then they just come through. They got a good coach. They got a good roster. CJ Stroud's the man. But so far, they look good in Indianapolis. They did throw. CJ Stroud threw 2 interceptions that got called back from penalty. I think that's somewhat noteworthy. The Colts made him make plays. They forced him to make a play, and he made the play. I mean, they converted every third down. And then against the Bears, I mean, the Bears defense is pretty solid, but I didn't watch the later half of that game, so I won't comment too much on it. But they didn't cover a 6-point number. They pushed, depending on where you got it. Maybe you won your Bears bet, or maybe you won the Texans if you got it at 5.5. I don't know. Looks like the opener was 4.5. It's down to 2.5. Personally, I would go with the Texans. It would be Texans or nothing. Square, don't care. It's probably the chalk play that hit. Now, I will say this. I am on record as saying that I liked the Colts last week, and I thought the Packers were the fake sharp play of the day. 3.5 to 2.5, money taking the Packers. I did say that. My old former self, a little bit nastier, more contrarian, loved to buy bad news. I would have been all over Malik Willis, but I'm trying to be smarter. I don't want to put my money on Malik Willis. Shout out to anybody who had the balls to do that. So maybe this game kind of gives you that similar vibe, or maybe it doesn't because no Malik Willis is involved. But it's that number for that road favorite. We just saw it not come in and burn some people. Total in this is 45 up to 45.5. Is that high? Is that a high number? Let's think about it real quick. Is it the over in this game? Is that kind of telling? I mean, we just saw the Minnesota Vikings go under in both their games this season, but they did score points, 28-6, I believe, against the Giants. And then what was the score in the Niners game? I don't know why I'm asking. You can't answer that. 23-17. So 40, 34. And then look at the Texans. Texans went over in week 1, but just on Sunday night, 19-13. 45 a little high, touch high, maybe. I don't know. Seems kind of telling. I would maybe lean over just based off the line there. 46.5 bet down. I don't know. I think 46.5 is kind of telling. This Brian Flores defense has been awesome. But I guess if you're looking at Sam Darnold, just had 97-yard touchdown pass to Justin Jefferson. The Vikings are scoring points, 23-28. The Texans are still the Texans. I don't know. I'm not going to overthink it. Something to keep in mind there for player props. You know I love my masterclass candidates. You know I love my weekly specials. Stephon Diggs revenge game. Okay, let's keep moving. Chargers and Steelers. This is tough. I'm on the Chargers under win total for the year. I got to tell you, I regret it. I know Jim Harbaugh is a really good coach. I truly do. I respect the shit out of him. Respect him at Michigan, despite the cheating allegations, right? I shouldn't say despite. I should say aside from that. I'm going to tell you this. I still think the Steelers are -2 at home against the Chargers. The total's 42.5 opener, down to 35.5. Whether that was bet down or adjusted down, I don't know. These are two teams I don't want to bet against. Is that fair? By the way, I'm very sorry if that's loud. That's my dishwasher. I got my fucking loud P-Tech AC unit over here cranking. I got my dishwasher up my ass. Sorry about that. Not a pleasant listening experience. Anyways, I'm not going to have a bet in this game. The Pittsburgh Steelers need to go with Justin Fields. I don't care how bad their offense is. I don't see it getting any better with Russell Wilson. Who are they really going to pass the ball to? Justin Fields is the threat of the run, I think, is better. He can launch it to George Pickens. Oh, he doesn't have any separation. Shut up. And Pat Freiermuth. Over receptions on Pat Freiermuth. I need that for my season long. I don't want to fade the Chargers. I don't want to. Maybe it's the Steelers. I don't want to fade the Chargers. Let's move on. Okay, the Eagles and the Saints. We just saw the Eagles absolutely fucking blow it on Monday Night Football. Nick Sirianni is, I don't know what's up with that guy. I've never really liked him, but then I bought into him a little bit. I bought into the Eagles. I just kind of, in a weird way, thought maybe he fit Philly. But man, when things go wrong, like your opinion just changes so quick. The way the Eagles blew that game is just unbelievable to me. That prevent defense. I don't know if it's on Vic Fangio. I don't know if it's on Sirianni. No A.J. Brown. They're in a dome, though. What do you think? Total's 49.5. The Saints are -1.5. Short home favorites. Man, this is interesting. So it looked like the look ahead was the Eagles -3. Now it's flipped and the Saints are a favorite. Is this giving you Is this giving you Cardinals Rams vibes? You know, the inferior team, yet still exciting and scoring points. The favorite? I mean, look at these teams' win totals start the year. Saints were what, 7.5? Eagles, 9.5. Everybody's got an Eagles to win the NFC East ticket. Everybody's got a Saints under wins ticket. Is it weird the Saints are favored, or is it not? Are the Saints going to be a little bit trendy? I don't know. I'm thinking it from a football perspective here. I mean, I don't really like Dennis Allen. I'm starting to not really like Nick Sirianni, Goober. The total is probably going to be the most trendy bet, I think, the trendiest over of the day. 49.5. This would be a very popular over. I did get burned on the Seahawks. I'm sorry, not the Seahawks, on the Saints Cowboys under last week. That was a newsletter play. Lost that in the first half. So kind of impressive in a weird way. This is probably going to be a game that everybody bets the over. Even though there's no A.J. Brown, you still like the Eagles offense in a dome. You saw what they did against the Packers. I don't know that people are necessarily buying the Saints defense. And I think maybe Marshawn Lattimore might be hurt. And I mean, Derek Carr in this offense, man, Clint Kubiak needs some sort of award for the first 2 weeks of the season. Seriously. I sent a tweet about Clint Kubiak. It got 0 likes. Look, I'm not a fan of nepotism. I'm not a Clint Kubiak guy. I can't pretend I am. It's unbelievable that the Saints have scored 47 and 44 points in the first 2 weeks of the season. Absolutely unbelievable. I don't know what to do about this game. I'm going to stay away. Let's go to the Packers and the Tennessee Titans. Titans are -2.5, total 36.5. The Packers just did the unthinkable, in my opinion, in winning a game against the Indianapolis Colts with Malik Willis. Now, talk about coaches that need to be questioned and on the hot seat, as we just talked about Nick Sirianni. What the fuck is going on with Shane Steichen, bro? We'll talk about the Colts a little bit later. This is more about the Packers. Credit to Matt LaFleur. If you can coach a game where Malik Willis is your quarterback with 1 week to prepare, and you can win that game, kudos to Matt LaFleur. Now you play a Titans team that I'm not high on. I got their under win total. And it's really, I like their key pieces. I like their guys talent-wise. I don't think that signing a bunch of players equals success right away. Not when you have a new rookie head coach, who I will say, Brian Callahan, 40 years old, I absolutely loved his reaction to Will Levis's dumb fucking idiot turnover plays. Loved it. Chewed his ass out on the sideline. It was easy to read his lips. Didn't hold back in the press conference. Fucking love it. Don't be so soft on these players. Fuck that. Will Levis can go out there. He can fucking get all these blowjob videos running around. You can put mayonnaise in your coffee, sign a fucking sponsorship with Hellmann's. You can take some criticism when you're making the worst decisions any quarterback is making, arguably, in the NFL. I don't think Will Levis is a starting quarterback. However, the play calling is pretty good. Like that jet sweep to DeAndre Hopkins, pretty good. Bomb to D-Hop too, or Calvin Ridley that was caught for a touchdown, pretty lucky. Double covered, pretty lucky. Not really going to chalk that one up to any talent there on Levis, but Ridley made a pretty good catch. It's hard not to think that the Tennessee Titans get their first win of the season here against Malik Willis in a Malik Willis revenge game. When I first looked at this game, I loved the Titans. Now I don't know. Cooling off a little bit because at the end of the day, I'm going to be really upset if I'm right about the Titans not winning many games this year, and then they lose at home to the Packers. You know what I mean? That's why we make season-long investments, and sometimes it doesn't make any sense to go against those season-long investments. I don't want to give a unit back on the Titans losing when I have the Titans lose on the entire season. So I won't spend too much more time talking about it. This is a really tough game. From what I had gathered in the first week of the season, it didn't look like 2.5 home favorites were doing that well. And I know I recall the Browns losing outright. I think there was another one too. Was it the Miami Dolphins lost outright? I think maybe there was one more. But then we just saw the Commanders win, although that was a wacky game. Anyways, I'm going to stay away from this game. 36.5 total. I don't know who's betting that over. Probably going to be a pretty nasty contrarian over if you see points in that game. Malik Willis revenge game. Maybe he goes nuts. Who the fuck knows? Let's talk Giants and Cleveland. Listen, I watched that Giants game. Real quick, just to set the stage for you, though. Browns -6.5, down to -6. Still 6.5 at some places like Caesars and Bet Rivers, it looks like. Total 42.5, down to 38.5. I watched that Giants game. Giants were my best bet last week against the Washington Commanders. Shane Bowen, the defensive coordinator, arguably the worst scheme I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how square the Browns are going to be. Maybe they'll be pretty popular, but do I really think anybody feels that comfortable laying that many points with the Browns? I mean, the Browns got their ass kicked by the Cowboys. And then, yeah, they won on the road as an underdog against Jacksonville, but they still played like shit. I think I heard they were 2 for 14 on fourth down. I don't know that anybody really feels that comfortable about this team. Could be wrong. I think people would probably side with, Malik Neighbors look good. Singletary's running hard. Daniel Jones just played a competent game. Maybe they can keep it close. Here's what I'm going to tell you. We have to keep something in mind. That Commanders secondary and defense is atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. On the flip side, the Giants, they don't have anything on offense. I'm sorry. Wan'Dale Robinson is not that good. He's just not. There was a huge conversion I think he made on fourth down or third down where he almost dropped the pass. I just don't know that he's like the guy. Malik Neighbors, dog. But I mean, you take him out. I think Daniel Jones is going to be running for his life. I don't know what the injury report is. I mean, if Myles Garrett or some of these guys on the defense are banged up, obviously that's going to maybe affect my decision a little bit. But let's look at this box score here. The Browns sacked Trevor Lawrence 4 times. Trevor Lawrence was 14 of 30 for 220 yards. 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He ran the ball twice for 45 yards. That's probably what I like in this game. I like Daniel Jones to run the ball. I don't think he's going to find many open receivers against the Browns. I just don't. I like the Browns. The Browns would be my survivor pick. And from like a psyche standpoint, the Cleveland Browns want to go back home. I always like this. I like teams that had a very disappointing and underwhelming performance in front of their home fans in the first game, and then the second game kind of go back to make it right. That's got to be the emphasis all week. We got to get back to defending our home turf, give our fans something to be happy about. They're paying money to come see us. Deshaun Watson needs a spark. That was a good win on the road. This could be a Deshaun Watson legacy game against a terrible defense outside of the defensive line. But Kayvon Thibodeau is nowhere to be found. Brian Burns is getting fucking locked down. Deshaun Watson might have a legacy game. So Daniel Jones rushing yards, he's going to be running for his life. I don't see the Giants scoring many points at all. Totals 39, but I do like the Browns offense. This is a game the Browns offense can come to life. It wasn't against the Jags defense, who maybe the Jags defense is actually kind of nasty, like low-key nasty. I don't know. I mean, the Dolphins, they had them on the ropes. They shut them down the entire game until there was a fucking 88-yard bomb to Tyreek Hill to get 17 points at home, week 1, all that time to prepare for Mike Daniel. Pretty good Jags defense. I think this is exactly what the Cleveland Browns need offensively, is this terrible Giants defense and a maybe really bad defensive coordinator in Shane Bowen. Give me the Browns big. Browns big. I don't know if it's an official play, but give me the Browns offense something. I'm going to be on it player prop wise and maybe a weekly special highest scoring team, something like that. Or maybe an all line. Okay, the Bears and the Colts. I want nothing to do with this game. I don't know where I stand with the Colts. Really not impressed with Anthony Richardson, not impressed with Shane Steichen. Also, I had Jonathan Taylor over rushing yards, which thankfully he got, but only 12 carries is fucking crazy. 12 carries for 103 yards, absolutely insane. Give him the fucking ball. You're not getting your ass kicked by 28 points. Absolutely insane. Total 42.5. This is a game. How does this game go over? Right? That's my first thought. Who's taking this over? Look at the splits on this. 92% of the money's on the under 42.5. Of course it would be. Of course it would. Anybody out there making a bet right now is not your average bettor. They're smart people. And if I was a smart person, I would say there's no way this game goes over. But I'm a nasty, sick fuck. And I think there's probably a fluke way this game goes over. Maybe it is. Maybe it's the Bears defense kind of regressing a little bit. They've been excellent. They fucking won that game for him week 1 against the Titans. The offense has done nothing. Week 2 kept them in it on the road in prime time against CJ Stroud and the Texans offense. Maybe the Bears are due for a little hiccup defensively. Maybe they're also a little tired of Caleb Williams. And so Caleb's going to have to prove it. Maybe he does. I'm not saying he's going to go out there and be all world, but maybe the Bears find a way to score. This Colts defense is bad. This has potential to be an over game nobody sees coming, in my opinion. Just my thoughts. Miami and Seattle. Oh, fuck me. This was going to be my best bet. The Dolphins were going to be my best bet. I saw it at 6.5. No, I saw it at 6. Then I saw it at 5.5 yesterday. And I was like, maybe I'll wait and see if money comes back in on the Seahawks. Now it's down to 5. Dolphins were going to be my early best bet. I just, I don't think it's a great spot for the Seahawks. Home opener, gritty win against the Broncos. Terrible first half, allow 2 safeties, turn it up in the second half. Then you go cross country to the Patriots. Play on the road, pretty hostile environment. Those Patriots fans were amped up. They're going to be early in the season when they have a little hope to be fun and competitive. And the Seahawks grinded out a win. Good for them. Now they come back home against a Dolphins team who has that bad news. No Tua. So you're going to get a huge line flip, which we just saw with Malik Willis, and the Packers were able to cover and win outright. So it's not time to totally panic when you're betting in the NFL. You have to buy some bad news occasionally and put yourself in uncomfortable positions. There's a kind of a little bit of both sides that I like here. Skylar Thompson's still, I think, competent. I think he can play football. We've seen it in the playoffs. He's already been in a hostile environment on the road in Buffalo in the playoffs. They put up like 31 points, and it was cold. Remember that? Fucking Mike McDaniel vaping on the sideline. It was a cold game. I think he's okay to go in there and at least play competent football. Not saying the Dolphins are going to run up the score. I don't know they're going to score 24 points. I don't know how I feel about the Dolphins defense necessarily, right? The Bills just fucking thrashed them. But I think with the Dolphins having a little bit extra time to prepare helps them immensely. And everybody kind of writing them off because Tua's out. I think this team still wants to get up and play a little bit of football. It's still early in the season, all right? They don't want their season to be over. They're not tanking in and packing it in. I think they're going to bring it. If anything, it's like this is desperation. big win like this can give you a lot of hope to fucking have, your team carry on, maybe just win a couple of games till Tua potentially comes back. I think I heard maybe week 8. A little bit of fate in the Seahawks too. Not really a great spot. Also, let's see. Who do the Seahawks have on deck next week? Wow, tough scheduling spot for the Seahawks, man. Then they got to go back on the road to Detroit. Yikes. Yeah, I kind of like the Dolphins here. Sucks I didn't get a good number. I would love to have 6 now, or obviously 6.5 if money comes back in on the Seahawks. We'll see what happens, but I do like the Miami Dolphins. The Carolina Panthers and the Las Vegas Raiders. Look, if you're betting on the Carolina Panthers, good luck. I'm not going to say anything as a ship bet before it actually happens. That's just not really my style. Anything can happen. If you want to bet the Panthers because there's no Bryce Young and there's Andy Dalton, sure. Addition by subtraction. You've seen Andy Dalton play football. You know he's capable of winning games, and he's going to limit those mistakes. I still think it's an Andy Dalton that is also learning a new system and has a new coach, and he's going to start the season on the road in Las Vegas. It's going to be a pretty rowdy environment. Also, with Vegas, the thing is, they usually, even games at home, are playing an away game in a way. Because if they're playing the Eagles, if they're playing the Bears, those fans, the fans of the opposing team, are traveling. They want to come to Vegas. It's kind of like Notre Dame Stadium for college football. That's like their trip. There ain't no fucking Panthers fans traveling from Charlotte to Vegas. I'm sorry. They're just not. They're fucking chilling in the suburbs with their 4 kids, making pancakes in the morning, watching this game. The husbands ain't getting out of it and going to a game in fucking Las Vegas. No way. So I think the Raiders, in my opinion, I think this defense might be legit. That defensive line is awesome. Antonio Pierce has made a boneheaded decisions in week 1. Some pretty good execution from the offense in week 2. We had the Raiders as an official play. I like the Raiders here, but what I like, and I've already punched in, is I like their defense, and I'm not sold on Carolina scoring points. So I took Carolina's team total under, and I'm sorry, but I just think we're giving Dave Canales a little bit too much credit. Nice guy, did a great job with Seattle and Geno Smith for 1 year. Great job with Baker Mayfield and the Bucks for 1 year. A lot different when you're a head coach of a football team and a bad fucking football team. So yeah, I'm just not sold on the Panthers. I lean Raiders here. Total's at 40. Raiders -5.5. But I'm going to be on that Carolina Panthers team total under. Baltimore and Dallas. I'm on the Ravens under win total. I don't know that I'm going to get super involved with this game, but I do like the Cowboys. Cowboys just look pathetic in their home opener against the Saints, but I also think there might be something to be said about the Saints. You don't really know what to game plan for yet. It's a new offense and they're an exciting offense. The Ravens, a little bit more lethargic on offense. Yeah, Lamar Jackson's the MVP and he's very exciting, but what the fuck is going on with this team? And I know lethargic is a weird way to describe the Ravens offense, but if you watch them, I feel like they should be a little bit more exciting and creative with their play calls than they are. Derrick Henry did nothing in the first half. He opened it up a little bit in the second half. I don't know that I'm super confident in the Cowboys winning this game, but I do think that the Cowboys seeing the Eagles just lose, probably big. I know it's early in the season, but come on. It's too big. It's them two in this division. Everybody's 1-1, except for the dog shit Giants. You go out there, you get first place, you get a big win, and you treat your home fans well. Remember what I said? The second game after embarrassing yourselves in front of your home fans. Second game. I like the Cowboys in this one. Also, that total's pretty high, 49. I know we just saw a fuck ton of points in that last game. Not saying I'm going to get there with the over, but I lean over in this game, and I like the Cowboys. Okay, San Francisco and LA. I'm not going to. There's so much bad news with the Rams. Another team I faded on the season. I have the Rams under win total. By the way, my boldest take of the season is John Harbaugh hot seat. So we'll see if that happens. Probably not, but we'll see if it happens. I think the Rams are going to be very bad this year because I think their defense lost a huge focal point, which I don't need to tell you about, Aaron Donald, but nobody's really talking about the loss of Raheem Morris, defensive coordinator that has been in the league for a while, was a good defensive coordinator for my Bucks, ended up becoming the head coach, coined the term Youngry. We went 10-6 with Josh Freeman, ended up not working out. But I like Raheem. And he got these guys. People forget the Rams had the 4th best odds last year to have the worst record in football. Nobody really expected them to do shit. That defense was actually playing pretty well. I think they're going to be terrible this year. The defense is terrible. That's why I don't want to overvalue the Cardinals just yet. I think that Rams defense is bad. Now they're injured. The offensive line is injured. The weapons are injured. It's just time for it to spiral, in my opinion. Stafford is getting older. He's aging. Also, he's got his Super Bowl. He's got his Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Just stay healthy, little guy. Stay healthy, old guy. I don't know why I said that. I don't like the Rams, but if you want to take the Rams, I think you're playing for a backdoor. Niners too, back-to-back road games, but I mean, state of California, whatever. Although San Francisco to LA is still pretty far flight. I would say this. I like the Niners in a bounce back offensively. For whatever reason, they just can't play in fucking Minnesota. They just can't. But I think this is a good spot for the Niners to get right offensively. Just like I liked Kyler Murray and the Cardinals offense last week, I like the Niners this week. So could be a high-scoring game. McVay's still going to take it personally. He doesn't want to give up just yet. Maybe he designed some shit. Maybe Stafford pulls some rabbits out of his ass. I don't know. Okay, Detroit and Arizona. Detroit's -2.5. Looks like some money is coming in on the Cardinals. I like the Lions. 3 down to 2.5, but only at DraftKings. I like the Lions. I think this is exactly what the Lions needed. I thought they would be relieved to get that win against Los Angeles. I thought they would get right offensively and have a good game. Goff was one of my picks for passing yards leader. Him and Kyler Murray. Neither hit. Shout out Geno Smith. Oh, you know what? On that note, by the way, I do want to give kudos to Geno. I heard Adam Chernoff mention he had like the best, or somebody mentioned that he had the best performance last week, quarterback wise. I know the Patriots aren't a good team. There might be something there with Geno and this new offensive coordinator from Washington as the season progresses. The Seahawks are going to be a team that I keep an eye on, and with Mike McDonald as head coach, maybe a little bit of a problem in the NFC. NFC could be wide open. We'll see if the Niners do indeed take a step back. Anyways, back to the Lions and Cardinals. The Lions are the trendiest team this offseason that I can remember. Everybody has an investment and some skin on the Lions. Over win total, win the division, win the NFC, win the Super Bowl. Dan Campbell, Coach of the Year, and myself, Jared Goff, MVP. You can tell this team, after being the underdog for so many years, now is the top dog, and I don't think they're handling it very well. They could easily be 0-2. But going on the road, after losing at home as a 7-point favorite, getting out of Detroit, this is what I think this team needs. I went to Detroit for the NFL draft. Let me tell you, that place is fucking buzzing. Those Detroit fans are coming out of the woodwork. And I'm not saying that as in they weren't already there, but I mean, they're driving in from neighboring states. It was one of the most insane, busiest fucking cities I've ever been in my life. And I went with guys, shout out Steak, who've gone to like 8 NFL drafts. They said it was the most busy, chaotic, packed draft they'd ever been to. Detroit is buzzing. But you know what? In my opinion, they're already ready for the playoffs. I think you can feel it maybe with the fans and maybe with the team. The team needs to get out of Detroit, get into a hostile environment, get into an opponent's territory. This defense is still pretty stout. I think they're going to do well. I think they're going to keep the Cardinals at bay a little bit. And I think this is exactly what the Lions and Jared Goff need. Okay. And maybe I said that last week a little bit after beating the Rams in the fashion that they did, and they needed a Bucs secondary to take advantage of. He had 300 yards. But he still had some really bad passes. The Bucs did not do much to win that game, but that's what the Bucs do when they go on the road and play NFC North opponents. A la fucking Minnesota last year. Fucking ruined my Survivor League. Anyways, I like the Lions. I like the over in the game, and I like the Lions team total. And I'll be looking at some player props there. Chiefs and Falcons, I have absolutely no thoughts in this game. We've been hearing it all week, and I've been joining in on it. The Chiefs getting bailed out by penalties. I probably like the Chiefs in this game. Falcons going to be coming back after that big win. Falcons are a very trendy team this offseason. Everybody's got them to win the NFC South. I think you're going to see people taking the Falcons with the points as a home dog. That Chiefs defense is pretty good. Joe Burrow played a fucking hell of a game. The Bengals deserve to win. The Chiefs got away with one. The Chiefs are pretty close to being 0-2. Let's be honest. Chiefs going on the road in Atlanta. I like the Chiefs. I like a lot of favorites this week. But here we go. Here's one of my dogs. Sunday night football, baby. Jags 5.5 on the road in Buffalo. Give me the Jags. I like the Jags. Total 45.5. Listen, Bills are going to be good this year. Josh Allen MVP might have life. I'm on James Cook Offensive Player of the Year. But the Jags they haven't looked great, but they've been scrappy. They've been scrappy. I like them to scrap it up. I think you're getting a good number here on the Jags. I think you're getting a good number here, especially in a week where I like a lot of favorites. Got to mix it up. Got to go with the dogs. This is the dog I like. I think the Bills will be a popular teaser leg. I think they'll be a popular moneyline parlay piece. I think I mentioned total 45.5. I kind of like the under in this game. I think the Jags pull out a gritty win outright, and I think it really gets right around that number. I could see like a 24-21 game. All right, quick recap for you guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you did tune in, I would always appreciate feedback. Did you like it? Are you listening to the podcast? Did you watch the video? And again, if you're not familiar with the board reviews, maybe now you are. Twitch, you can find me on Twitch. All the links to the streams and the platforms, the YouTube channel, etc., are in the link in my bio. Every weekday, 10:30 a.m. And I'll be on tomorrow. And then Prop Talk Sunday morning will be a little bit earlier this morning. I'll keep you guys posted with that. Subscribe to the newsletter, thedegenerateweekly.com. You can subscribe for free. Thank you to all those who do pay and support our work. Greatly appreciate it. All right, so the Jets Thursday night. I'm on the Jets -6. Bucks and Broncos. I like the under, even though it's a square under. I'd probably go first half under. Maybe the Bucks come out to a little bit of a lethargic, slow start. Houston and Minnesota. I like the Texans. Square don't care. I kind of like the over 2. I don't know what to do in that game. Chargers Pitt, I'm going to stay away. I have the Chargers under win total. I hope the Steelers come through. Eagles Saints, sorry again for the dishwasher, very loud in this moment. I'm good on that game. The Packers and Titans, I like the Titans. I said it when I saw the line. I said the Titans are getting their first win. I don't know how I feel about this anymore. I'm going to probably stay away and hope for the best. Browns, I like the Browns big. I think the Giants are a very, very bad football team. I think the Giants could probably go 1-16 this year, and I'm not kidding. Maybe 2-15. They are very, very bad. But shout out to Daniel Jones. He played a much better game, but it was against a really bad defense. And an opponent he's familiar with in a stadium he's familiar with. I don't know that I see Daniel Jones going to Cleveland, Ohio in the dog pound and coming out with a good win. Like his rushing yards over, and I think that Deshaun Watson has a big game. Browns and Colts, two desperate teams right here, guys. Two desperate fucking teams right here. I think we see an over. I think we see points in this game. Miami and Seattle. I love Miami. Miami was going to be my best bet. Now I'm torn. I really don't like that number. But I still like the Dolphins. I might just say fuck it and get there with them. We'll see. Total 41. Don't know how I feel about points. Carolina and Vegas. I like the Raiders, but I'm going to be on the Carolina Panthers team total under in that game. I don't think Andy Dalton is coming out and saving anybody's ass. Baltimore and Dallas. I like Dallas. Might be an official play. I might lobby for it. Yeah, I like Dallas. San Francisco and the Rams, team total over for San Francisco for me. I don't feel super confident in playing, betting against McVay with those points at home. Backdoor is always open. We've seen it before. Lions, like the Lions big. Again, I like a lot of favorites this week. Like a lot of favorites after the dogs just barked. And again, I don't like the favorites just because of that. Okay, I think I've given you some reasoning. I think this is a good spot for Detroit to get on the road, get out of the city, and maybe a little cold water on their face. You know what I mean? Kansas City, Atlanta, probably fade the Falcons here. I think that's what I do. That Chiefs defense is still pretty good. Kirk on a short week after primetime comeback victory like that. Happy to see it. Happy for the guy. I think the Chiefs probably make it a little nasty. Jacksonville and Buffalo. Jags going to be one of my favorite dogs of the weekend. And then real quick, Cincinnati, Washington. I think the Bengals are going to beat the fuck out of the Commanders. All right. Shut it down. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great day. Have a great week. I will see you tomorrow at the board review, 11 a.m. Oh, no, I'm sorry. What am I talking about? 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.